Number 9. Millie Slennett. On Christmas Day 2020, a dance challenge between two sisters and their boyfriends resulted in a hard fall in Sydney, Australia. After a few drinks, 25-year-old Millie Slennett and her sister Rosie, aged 19, had tried to replicate the iconic lift from the 1987 film Dirty Dancing. In a move that has since found a prominent place in popular culture, Patrick Swayze lifts Jennifer Grey above his head as her body is in an outstretched planking position. Professional dancer Millie believed she and her boyfriend would certainly have the edge over her sister, who worked as a fashion designer. In their family's garden as Rosie was filming, Millie leapt towards her boyfriend and the lift initially appeared successful. However, as Millie kept raising her legs, she tipped over her partner's shoulder and plunged face first into the ground from nearly 8.5 feet. Her neck bent awkwardly on impact, and the momentum carried her body forward and over her head. Millie's family feared the worst. The dancer later described how it felt like she'd shattered her left side ribs and it hurt her to breathe. The pain didn't subside and the family called an ambulance. Even though she'd snapped her neck back, which could have resulted in paralysis or even death, Millie emerged without serious injuries, much to the amazement of her doctors and many others who watched the video of her fall. Number 8. Ava Morin. In the fall of 2019, an exotic dancer from Jacksonville, Florida, was charged with 3 counts of attempted murder following an altercation outside Academy Sports in Orange Park. 18-year-old Ava Morin, a dancer at Wacko's Gentlemen's Club, reportedly engaged in a fistfight with another woman. According to the local authorities, the altercation was over a man. Morin pulled out a 9mm handgun and fired 8 rounds at 3 different people. A sergeant from the homicide unit reported that her intention was to kill them, but fortunately, no one was hurt, with 1 bullet narrowly missing the passenger of a vehicle. Officers from Clay County Sheriff's Office tracked Morin's car to Wacko's and coincidentally arrived as the club was being raided by the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office in an unrelated incident. After being interviewed by the latter department, Morin was taken into custody by Clay County law enforcement and held on a $750,000 bond. A sentence in her trial hasn't been pronounced, but she faces anywhere from 10 years to life in prison. Number 7. Brian Basarich. Exotic dancer Brian Basarich was arrested in early 2019 for using her Tumblr account to talk about carrying out a mass shooting. The 31-year-old, a performer at the Showgirls Men's Club in Plant City, Florida, made her post under the username Taking Lives. Basarich claimed that she'd pondered purchasing an AK-47 and opening fire on a crowd in a club or bar that only had 1 exit. She also ominously wrote, "2019 has a lot in store if my plans go according." Another user reported the suspicious behavior to local authorities and Basarich was taken into custody. She told investigators that her post wasn't meant to be regarded as a plan or intention, but rather as an imaginary byproduct of her watching a lot of true crime. The arrest report noted that she was also a fan of serial killers and mass murderers. Several other posts suggested Basarich was enamored with Charleston church shooter Dylan Roof, while she herself admitted to having felt the urge to kill. She was charged with making a written threat to kill or injure and released on a $5,000 bond. Number 6. Ashley Benefield. In November of 2020, a former ballet dancer was arrested for gunning down her husband as they were in the midst of a custody battle. The incident occurred on September the 27th, at a time when Ashley Benefield, aged 28, was living with her mother in the Central Park neighborhood of Bradenton, while her husband, 58-year-old Doug, lived at a different address. For about 2 years, starting soon after Ashley realized that she was pregnant, she had filed domestic violence reports against Doug on several occasions. The woman claimed that she'd done so to protect her unborn child from her aggressive Navy veteran husband. However, the authorities noted that they couldn't find something with which to charge Doug in any of those cases, as there weren't any signs of abuse. Prior to the shooting, he'd gone to visit Ashley when there was no one else present at the home. According to the New York Post, the former dancer fired 4 shots at her estranged husband from a .45 caliber handgun. 2 bullets struck Doug, while 2 others were found lodged in the wall. The authorities found him with gunshot injuries to the leg and chest, to which he subsequently succumbed in a local hospital. Ashley would claim that she'd fired the gun in self-defense because Doug had attacked her. Yet, much like her previous reports, there was no physical evidence to corroborate her story. Moreover, Based on where the victim had been struck, investigators believed that he hadn't been facing Ashley. The police examined the evidence for over a month before charging her with second-degree murder. Number 5. Jania Sky. In February of 2020, an exotic dancer suffered a brutal accident during a performance at the XTC Cabaret in Dallas, Texas. Jania Sky had performed various maneuvers as she climbed up a towering pole on the establishment stage. At one point, the daring performer went all the way to the top and then displayed outstanding athleticism as she danced while hanging upside down from a structure attached to the high ceiling. However, later in the evening, as she rose up the pole once again, Sky lost her grip and plummeted face first roughly 20 feet. In spite of the horrific drop that saw her head bounce off the neon-lit multicolored floor, Sky resumed her performance within seconds and started twerking. A video of the fall went viral, and in the aftermath, Sky posted a video to her Instagram. She tearfully thanked well-wishers who'd contacted her asking if she was all right. Sky was grateful that her injuries hadn't been worse, considering the height from which she'd fallen. The impact did leave her with a broken jaw that needed surgery, as well as cracked teeth and a sprained ankle. Number 4. YEVGENY Kulesh. In October of 2021, a dancer at Moscow's prestigious Bolshoi Theatre was killed during an on-stage accident. YEVGENY Kulesh was a veteran of the renowned theatre as he joined it in 2002. On the night of the tragic accident, 37-year-old Kulesh was taking part in a performance of Sadko, an opera by composer Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov. During a set change, Kulesh became trapped under a backdrop. As it was lowered, a video surreptitiously shot by an audience member would show other performers desperately waving their arms and asking for a doctor. The audience was promptly evacuated. Kulesh had sustained critical crushing injuries and died before an ambulance arrived at the scene. According to the latest updates on the case, Kulesh's death was still being investigated, with the factors leading up to the tragic incident mostly being a matter of speculation. One report claimed that the performer himself had been at fault because he'd gone in the wrong direction. Former principal dancer at the Bolshoi, Nikolai Sitkadze, however, suspected that responsibility lay with the technical staff. He told a media outlet, "Backstage is hell. Dancers damage their legs when sets and staircases fall over. There are no windows or ventilation." Number 3. Marcus Bellamy. In 2016, a Broadway dancer posted a chilling message to his Facebook moments after killing his boyfriend with his bare hands. The incident occurred at an apartment in the Bronx borough of New York City. 32-year-old Marcus Bellamy and his lover Bernardo Almonte, aged 27, had gotten into an unspecified argument at the latter's apartment. Bellamy, a Juilliard-trained dancer with several musicals and films to his name, and Almonte had reportedly been smoking crystal methamphetamine at the time. As the argument turned physical, Bellamy unleashed a vicious attack on his lover after, by his own admission, perceiving him as evil. He bit into both of Almonte's shoulders, struck him repeatedly, and strangled him to death. In the aftermath, he posted several messages to his Facebook, some expressing remorse, but also one which read, "I am God, I give life, and can take it away, so let it be." Bellamy confessed the murder to one of Almonte's neighbors, who then alerted the authorities. The killer was taken into custody without incident and ultimately sentenced to 20 years in prison for manslaughter. Today's topic was requested by Instagram follower OpalRain14. If you have any other topics you'd like to learn about, subscribe and let us know in the comments section, or follow us on Instagram and reach out to us there. Number 2. Lauren Block. In January of 2013, Lauren Block was dancing for a client at Christie's Cabaret in downtown Cleveland. According to Pascal Storino, the man to whom she was given a lap dance, 22-year-old Block grabbed a rail while facing away from the club's second-floor balcony. She then attempted a move that resulted in her going head first over the rail. Block struck the pavement after falling an estimated 15 feet. Witnesses recounted that she was lying motionless for several minutes with her face covered in blood. The exotic dancer was rushed to the Metro Health Medical Center, where staff determined she'd suffered major head trauma. In spite of repeated attempts to save her life, Block passed away about a week after the fall. Number 1. Pavel Dimitrichenko. In 2013, a gruesome attack on the Bolshoi's artistic director resulted in a prison sentence for one of the theater's leading men. The incident was the culmination of a dark period in the Bolshoi Ballet Company's history, characterized by turmoil and infighting. Dancer Pavel Dimitrichenko, then in his late 20s, was dissatisfied with artistic director Sergei Filin's allocation of funds for the dancers. He was also reportedly angry that the director hadn't chosen his ballerina girlfriend to portray Princess Odette in a production of Swan Lake. On January the 17th of 2013, an assailant threw corrosive acid in Filin's face outside his Moscow home. Aside from suffering third-degree burns to his face and neck, Filin also lost vision in one eye. Two men confessed in March that they'd been hired by Dimitrichenko to hurt Filin, with one of them acting as the attacker and the other as the getaway driver. Both faced a maximum of 12 years in prison, while Dimitrichenko admitted that he'd hired the attackers. However, he claimed that he hadn't instructed them to use acid and assumed they'd beat up the director. When asked by the presiding judge if he wanted to apologize to Filin, Dimitrichenko reportedly responded, "For what?" He spent 3 years in prison and was allowed to return to the Bolshoi for training following his release. Thanks for watching. For a year, would you rather only sleep 5 hours a night or start doing the Macarena every time you got angry? Let us know in the comments section below.